Dynasty Dorks. This is the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast. We're brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and our contests, including our NFL wins totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is offering you a chance to win $15 million in prizes with Best Ball Mania 4. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code SGP. We're also brought to you by College Football Bankroll, up to $3,000 up for grabs. Get all the details at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bankroll. So we're going to talk about the players that I love and the players that I hate for each round of the draft. Some of you have drafts going on right now. Some of you have drafts going on tonight. Some of you have drafts going on this weekend. It's the most popular draft weekend, and we're going to get straight into it. And so when we're looking at the draft, I'm looking at round one, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to discuss what to do with Jonathan Taylor and what to do with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is still going to be best available on the board for majority of your leagues, and some of your league mates who have not caught up with the news will go and get Cooper Kupp. So I hate Cooper Kupp in the first round. It's hard to say you hate any player that is that good, but right now we just don't know what's going on with Cooper Kupp, and Jonathan Taylor is another person that we have to wait on. I think Jonathan Taylor you don't consider until the 7th or 8th round, and Cooper Kupp probably until the 5th or 6th round, maybe the 4th round. If he comes back after week 2 and is great, that's fantastic. But what happens if Matthew Stafford gets hurt? What if Matthew Stafford doesn't finish the season? What if the Rams pack it in? Then you have Stetson Bennett or another quarterback throwing the ball. Cooper Kupp could re-injure his hamstring that he's already injured and then re-injured. So I'm avoiding Cooper Kupp, but I'm attacking Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill in the first round, especially if I'm in the middle of the draft. Travis Kelce allows you to get rid of the tight end. Don't worry about the tight end position the rest of your draft, and you have a locked and loaded tight end. Last year, Travis Kelce scored almost 200 more points than the tight end 6. It's a huge advantage. You basically get a wide receiver 1. You get to play him in your tight end position. In round 2, I'm going to go with Derrick Henry or Tony Pollard. In this instance, I went with Tony Pollard. He is the Dallas Cowboys run offense. I know he's been a guy that people have said can't be a bell cow. Well, the Dallas Cowboys, they seem to believe so. They have not done a lot to go and back him up. Ronald Jones is back there. Rico Dowell. They have Deuce Vaughn. Tony Pollard can get 300-plus touches. He's an explosive player. Austin Eckler, Alvin Kamara type of player that, he's on a one-year deal for them, so they have no reason to kind of save him for the future. And then a player that I'm avoiding this round is Patrick Mahomes. I know in this draft he went the number 1. I'm avoiding all quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. If it's in a 0.5 PPR or a standard league, then maybe I'll consider it, especially for 6-point touchdowns. But most of your leagues are going to be 6-point passing touchdowns, full point PPR, or half-point PPR. And I'm not going to go and take a quarterback this early and pass up on all the talent that's on here on the board. In the 3rd round, I'm going after Ramondre Stevenson. I am not concerned about Ezekiel Elliott. Some people are, and that's fine. Keep letting the value fall to me. Ramondre Stevenson has top 5 potential. Last year, in a really crappy offense with Damian Harris as the starting running back for the beginning of the season, Ramondre Stevenson still ended up as a top 10 running back. This guy is PPR upside. He also can get the ball during the goal line. I know Ezekiel Elliott's going to get some of that, but Ramondre Stevenson is a 3-down back, and he is actually going to be the lead this year, and so I'm attacking him. As far as in the 3rd round, Devonta Smith, and I know I might get some hate for this one. I just feel like there's better plays in this round. Last year, you saw a little bit of a dip in his production when Dallas Goedert was healthy. When Dallas Goedert misses time, Devonta Smith is basically a wide receiver 1. When Dallas Goedert is out there, sometimes Smith will go away. And I know that's tough. But if you're looking at some of the other options that are available in round 3, I would much rather go that direction. Round 4, Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen gives you wide receiver 1 upside. In this build, I have him as my wide receiver 1, and I'm totally fine. Justin Herbert could easily lead the league in passing attempts. You're also having a higher air yards and a higher yards per attempt this year now that he's healthy and he's got his left tackle back. And I know there's some other weapons on this team, but Keenan Allen is still that dude. And I'm going to go Keenan Allen, especially in my PPR leagues. And then for round 4 to avoid, he went third round in this one, but I'm going to go Deebo Samuel per the ADP. People are still chasing points from several years ago, and I just don't get it. This guy is very inconsistent. He's not even the number 1 target, not even the number 2, not even the number 3 target on his team. Christian McCaffrey has completely zapped his value, but you're also looking at Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle as studs in this offense. So I'm going to avoid Deebo Samuel. He is my bust this year, and I just don't understand why people are still chasing points from 2 years ago. Never chase points. And so we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to tell you guys about College Football Bankroll Challenge. College football is back, and to celebrate, SGPN is giving away a bunch of cash in our College Football Bankroll Challenge. Free to enter, seasonal contest, $1,000 first prize, $500 second, but the prizes double to $2,000 and $1,000 if you're a Patreon for the college football season. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bankroll and click the link in the app. College football fans, are you ready for week 1? I just saw Colorado win. Shout out to Dion Primetime. DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking you up with a can't-miss offer for this season. New customers get just bet $5 and you're going to score $200 in free bets instantly. Anything can happen in college football. Your team can go unranked to dynasty mode in just a couple of years. Change comes fast. The only thing that is locked in is great offers from DraftKings Sportsbook. And I'm going to go Florida State and LSU over. Both teams are stacked. They got 2 out of the top 5 Heisman winners as far as favorites. And Florida State got a ton of transfers. Both offenses going to be off the hook tomorrow night. It's a life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they just bet $5 in college football. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire even days after the insurance. 7 days after the insurance. And so back to this. For round 5, I'm going to go with DJ Moore. And so depending on where you're drafting, DJ Moore is still going in the 5th round. He is perennially undervalued. He doesn't have the upside that some other players do. But this is pretty much the worst case scenario for him to finish just wide receiver 18, 19. He every year is a wide receiver 2. And so if that's what I get, that's what I got. That's what I paid for. But if he gets if he's better than that this year, then I'm going to be rolling it in with round 5 cost. If you were to take Tyreek Hill in the 1st round, this is where I would take Darren Waller or TJ Hawkinson in the 5th round. I like to get an early tight end. So your combination of either DJ Moore and Travis Kelce or TJ Hawkinson, Darren Waller, and a Tyreek Hill would be just fine for me. And don't forget about Bijan Robinson. If you're seeing Austin Eckler in the 1st round, I did not expect that to happen. I kept with my strategy of taking Kelce because that was my pick for this. But Eckler would have been very hard to pass up in that situation. As far as my avoid in this round, Miles Sanders. So Miles Sanders, I feel like he's fool's gold. He got paid a lot of money, and you expect him to get a bell cow workload. And the problem is he's already hurt. This guy has really struggled to stay on the field, has really struggled to stay healthy, and he's not even ever been in a bell cow, workload. This guy gets a really, really big downgrade as far as an offensive line and an offense in general. And then he's going to be facing, 8-man boxes while the team has no weapons out there on the outside. I feel like you're paying way too high of a price for Miles Sanders right now. I am out. And the next round, I'm taking Brandon Ayuk. I talked to you earlier. I'm out on Deebo Samuel, but I would love Brandon Ayuk 3 rounds later. This guy has beaten Deebo Samuel in points per game this year, and you're going to see it again. He did it last year. You're going to see it again this year. Brandon Ayuk is a good route runner. He is a better receiver than Deebo Samuel. And as far as fantasy football, he is going to be the superior pick. Tyler Lockett is not a bad pick in this round as well, but I went with Brandon Ayuk. Another player I'm avoiding is Dalvin Cook. In the next round, you have Dalvin Cook in the 6th round. Earlier in the season, yeah, he's going to look good. Breece Hall is going to be a little bit, you can see a little bit of a steady, a steady workload projection after the first 4 weeks for Breece Hall, and Dalvin Cook will be in there. But look at the Jets starting schedule. It's not good. The first 4 weeks, they're facing tough competition, especially in the run game. And I'm going to just back off and let other people take Dalvin Cook this early. If I got him later on, yeah, I'd be fine. I know people are, if something happens to Breece Hall, this guy's going to be good. You are paying way too high for a handcuff, getting him in the 6th round, even if he's the starter for the first couple of weeks of the season. Again, they have a very tough run schedule the first couple of weeks of the season. I am out. As far as the next round, this is my money pick, David Montgomery. They're talking about using him as the Mark Ingram and Jahmyr Gibbs as the Chimera in this offense. Montgomery has run for 1,200 yards pretty much every year of his career. He gets the best offensive line, the best offense that he's ever played with. And on top of that, we saw Jamal Williams have 17 touchdowns last year in a pretty much a bell cow role. So we can see Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery coexist. I think they both can be good this year. And David Montgomery getting 1,000 yards and 10, 12, 13 touchdowns is very much in the cards. It's a high-powered offense, and Montgomery is going to be a stud. A player that I'm avoiding is Mike Evans. I know Mike Evans has perennially been a very good receiver. He's got 1,000 yards as long as I can remember. This year, I think it stops. Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, bad offensive line. The Buccaneers are going to be an absolute dumpster fire. And Mike Evans was not good last year with Tom Brady. If he wasn't good with Tom Brady, he's not going to be good with Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans is definitely not worth a 7th round pick. And we know what Baker Mayfield has done with outside receivers. Look what happened with Odell Beckham. It wasn't good, and it's not going to be good this year. Mike Evans in the 7th, I'm out. Jordan Addison in the 8th, I'm in. I love Jordan Addison. I think that route runners can translate to the NFL much faster. You look at Justin Jefferson, what he was able to do. You look at Cooper Kupp was able to do. Even Juju Smith-Schuster. People that play in the slot, it's a much shorter line to the quarterback, they tend to get easier fantasy football production. But on top of it, Jordan Addison is a refined route runner and a ready-to-go athlete, similar to what you see with a Chris Olave, with a Garrett Wilson. These guys that aren't just athletes, they're actually good receivers coming into the NFL. The team will use them. And on top of it, they have a big vacancy with Adam Thielen gone, who had a ton of targets last year. I know TJ Hawkinson is there, but Jordan Addison can be fantasy viable year 1. And after that, I have Brian Robinson. He's not picked in this. Actually, he is picked in this one. Brian Robinson here in the 8th round. We don't know what this team's going to do as far as their running backs. And you see Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson going in the same round. We can let somebody else figure this out. I think there's too many good options here. You can get your quarterback in this round. You can get your tight end in this round. There's so many other things that I'd rather do than pick up a running back that might be the backup, might be the starter, might be 50. I don't know. But he doesn't catch passes on top of all of that. Next round, I'm going to go get my quarterback. There's plenty of good options here. Tua is a good option. You have Geno Smith as an option. Anthony Richardson, if he's still available. I'm going with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones was a top 10 quarterback, and he barely threw the ball last year. He had no weapons, and really they didn't really start letting him rip it until the end of the season. And you saw what he was able to do in the playoffs against the Vikings. Daniel Jones, I got the rushing. You get the rushing upside. You got better weapons this year in the second year with Brian Dable. And then a player that I'm avoiding this round is Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny is, every single year we get hyped up about Rashad Penny, and he might be good the first couple of weeks. And then you get all excited about him, and then he's going to get hurt. Got DeAndre Swift there. Some people are hyping up Kenny Gainwell. I know it's a great offensive line. I know he's going to have some good weeks, but we just don't know. And I'm going to avoid Rashad Penny and until I see otherwise. You also got Jalen Hurts there. It's just I don't trust Penny, and I'm going to go with other options in this round. My next pick is going to be Elijah Moore. In the 10th round, I think this is a massive value for the number 2 on an offense. I know that the Deshaun Watson you haven't seen it in 3 years. Let's not forget this guy was very good, not only as a runner, but as a passer. This team went out and they didn't have first round picks. So what did they do? Second round pick, they traded it for Elijah Moore. Third round pick, they went and got Cedric Tillman. This team they want to use Deshaun Watson as a passer, and they want to open it up. Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman, Amari Cooper, and Elijah Moore is going to be their slot receiver. They invested a high draft pick in him by trading the 42nd overall pick for him. I think they're going to use him a lot. And then the next pick would be Ezekiel Elliott. I'm gonna avoid Ezekiel Elliott here. I know there could be some touchdown upside, and I know Ramondre Stevenson if he got hurt, but I think it's still too early to be going after your handcuffs, and I don't see him being that heavily involved. There's other options here that I like, specifically at the quarterback position, but I also like some of the receiving options here, and depending on your build, I just think this is too early to go with a guy that really, in my eyes, is going to be, what's up, guys? I didn't see this until now. Really, I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to be there. So you took Kupp at the 107 2 days ago before the setback. How do you feel about him? Sorry if I missed this earlier. I said this earlier. I think he's probably more of a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick at this point. I like the other options better. I have concerns already about the Rams offense and what it's going to look like this year. Is Stafford going to stick it, be able to stay healthy the whole season? Can the offensive line hold up? And then Cooper Kupp, can he hold up? He already has had a setback to an injury, coming off of a major injury. I just think you're using way too high draft capital on him if you're taking him in the 1st or 2nd round. 3rd round, you might consider it, but honestly, probably 4th or 5th round for me. Pollard in the 2nd. What's up, Jamie? Yeah, just sticking to it, trying to get through this as soon as possible. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Next round, I have Allen Lazard as my love pick. Allen Lazard, he was good with Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers back in Green Bay. Last year was a setback. Not only did he get hurt, but he was forced into a role on the outside that he's not very comfortable with. And so he gets that. Now he's going to be the 2nd or 3rd option on this team. They got a very good running game. They got a good quarterback. And Allen Lazard and him already have rapport. I think he's going to get a ton of red zone targets. And don't forget about all the deep targets that he and Rodgers have had in the past. I really like Allen Lazard this year. And yeah, he's my 5th, 6th receiver. You're not getting him to rely on him every week, but I think he's going to be a guy that everyone is talking about after week 1 as a waiver wire pickup. He's already on my roster. I can use him as a trade piece, or I can just ride it out the rest of the season. I'm going to avoid Tyler Bass. I'm going to avoid any kicker in this round. I am not taking a kicker in the 11th. People are crazy if they're taking kickers this early. I know Justin Tucker is that dude, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna stack up other positions. You could literally get starting quarterbacks right now. No, thank you. As far as the next round, I'm gonna go Jared Goff. This is round 12. Round 12, I'm gonna go Jared Goff, and Jared Goff could easily outscore Daniel Jones this year. He plays 13 games inside the dome. So you have one possible bad weather game in Chicago in December. Okay, I'll just slide Daniel Jones in. He's going to have Jameson Williams back after week 6. He gets the addition of Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta with a team that he was already a top 10 fantasy quarterback last year. Goff is being underrated. People are forgetting how good he was last year, and I am gobbling him up in the 12th, 13th round. I'm easily could have him as one of my starters. Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Geno Smith. Those are solid late round quarterbacks for me. And then I'm going to avoid Kenny Gainwell. Again, it's a muddled backfield back there. They got 4 or 5 running backs on top of they have Jalen Hurts. It's a lot of production, but it's going to be spread out, and I'm just not taking dibs. And I just don't understand why people every year are hyping up Kenny Gainwell. Like, he's going to have a couple weeks, and so is Boston Scott. But I'm not telling people to go out and get Kenny Gainwell. Good luck guessing on when he's going to be good. It's going to take 2 or 3 guys to get hurt for him to have any type of relevance, and there are way better options on the board right now, so I am out. The next option is Tyler Higbee in round 13. That is a solid late round tight end. I got him as my second option behind Kelsey. Not only the Kupp injury, but even if Kupp is there, who's the second option? Is it going to be Van Jefferson, Puka Nacua? I got my money on Tyler Higbee. This guy gets 110, 120 targets this year, no doubt. And now Cooper Kupp is injured. This could easily be a guy that ends up with one of the top 3 or 4 target leaders at the tight end position, and you're getting him in the 13th round essentially free. Bryce Young, if this is a one quarterback league, I am not interested in any quarterbacks not named Anthony Richardson. It's just rookie quarterbacks average about 4.5 wins. They average about 32nd finish in fantasy. It's just not something you're interested in. He's not going to run the ball a lot. This team is not going to be very good this year. It's not a good offensive line. They don't have weapons. I think Bryce Young's a great quarterback, but he's going to need someone he's going to need some weapons out there. They traded DJ Moore. DJ Chark's already hurt. Adam Thielen, he's been slowed down a lot. So I like Jonathan Mingo, and Hayden Hurst is a good option at tight end, but it's going to be a bad offense, and there's way too many good quarterbacks in this league to be going after him if in your single quarterback leagues. Just checking in on the guys. Same with Rashawn. Yeah, Jalen Moore in the 14th is a steal. So is Rashawn, and Rashawn Johnson is my pick here. I love him. But Underdog Fantasy, I want to make sure to tell you guys about that. August is almost over, and August is over. You know what that means. Time's running out. To draft your fantasy football teams on Underdog Fantasy. Get championship ready for your home leagues by trying out Best Ball and Underdog Fantasy. All you have to do is one live snake draft, no waivers, no trades. You set it, forget it, and Underdog does the rest. My brother and I did one today. Try it out. Underdog's Best Ball Mania Tournament, the largest fantasy football contest of all time. $15 million in total prizes up for grabs, including an absurd $3 million going to the winner. Do you have what it takes to win it all? The time is now, and the last day to draft for your fantasy teams, for your fantasy football team on Underdog is September 7th. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com and find them at the App Store and sign up with promo code SGPN. Your deposit can be doubled up to $100 for your first deposit. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And as far as Underdog, I talked about it earlier. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think it's 40.5 rushing yards or overall yards. Smash it. He's going to get more than that. You can see him and Montgomery on the field together. Make sure you check out Sports Gambling Podcast, our Patreon. Patreon is a great way to become part of the family. I know I came in and joined it as a fantasy content creator. If you sign up to Patreon, you can get exclusive contests, including the NFL win totals contest with a $1,000 first place prize. This week's weekly Patreon pick'em is all week one college football. The prize is a cornhole board, perfect for any college football tailgate. Patreon is a great way to support the network in fighting back against corporate gambling. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Patreon. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Patreon. And let's get back to it, and let's finish up our draft. So again, I talked about Higbee being my guy that I love this round, Bryce Young being the guy that I'm avoiding this round, and my guy Aaron was right on it. Rashawn Johnson in the 14th round. This guy could literally be the starter week one. We don't know who the starter is. It says it's going to be Khalil Herbert. We'll see how the splits are. Rashawn Johnson does all the things that Khalil Herbert doesn't do well. Rashawn Johnson does well. He's a good pass protector. He's got good hands, and he's a powerful, sure-handed runner. And you look at Khalil Herbert, the concerns with him have been drops, fumbles, and pass protection. They could be a 1-2 punch, but Rashawn Johnson, with fourth-round draft capital, drafted by this regime, could be the guy, and you're getting him in the 14th round. And of course, if something happened to Herbert, he could easily walk into it. Last year, we saw so many rookies take over their backfields halfway through the season or after the bye week last year. Damian Pierce, Rashad White, James Cook. Rashawn Johnson's going to be next. The guy that I'm avoiding in this round, Rashee Rice. Everybody, you keep falling for it. The only person to own outside of Patrick Mahomes is really Travis Kelce. Every other week, they're going to have a different guy, whether it's going to be, Tony's the flavor of the week, McKinnon's the flavor of the week, Rashee Rice, MVS. Avoid it. Go get some better options here. And then after the next round, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints as my defense. If you can avoid drafting a defense and just hold out, do it. But if you have to pick a defense, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. They auto-picked me here because I wasn't paying attention. I would have taken the New Orleans Saints in this spot. If you can't get the Saints, then take the Washington Commanders. Take whoever is playing against the Arizona Cardinals, Washington week 1, the Giants week 2. And then as far as players to avoid, it's really hard to avoid anybody this late in the draft because they're really, they're a lot of them are dart throws. But I'm going to avoid Rondale Moore in the 15th. I understand the allure that this guy could be the second option on this team now that DeAndre Hopkins is gone. But who's the quarterback? How much is Kyler Murray going to play? This offense is going to be terrible. This team's going to be terrible. And Rondale Moore was already kind of a hit or miss guy. You're at least getting 4 weeks without Kyler Murray. There's way better options. I'll let him hit the waiver wire. If he hits, I'll pick him up later. But I'm going to let somebody else deal with the mess. As far as kicker, Will Lutz. Will Lutz in the 16th round as your last pick. Again, if you can avoid kicker, avoid kicker. I'm going to take Marvin Mims or I'll take Jeff Wilson, some of these guys with upside in this round. But if you have to draft a kicker, Will Lutz. Will Lutz just got traded to Denver Broncos. He's a very accurate kicker that now gets to play in the Mile High Stadium. So I'm going to go with Will Lutz as my last pick. And if he's unavailable, Cameron Dicker, Brandon McManus, I'm down with that. Well, appreciate you guys checking in. This was a very quick show, just trying to talk about players that I like, players that I'm avoiding. Good luck in your drafts, and as always, good luck this season.